Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today I'm super excited to announce that the Simon Says stamp and Tim Holtz Sizzix 2025 December exclusive Snowflake Rosette die is now available. Please make sure and visit Simon Says stamp for all of the details on this die. So today I thought it would be fun to take several of my favorite Tim Holtz products and pair them with this new Snowflake Rosette to create some beautiful ornaments. Now, if you've been here for any length of time, you know that I absolutely love the Rosettes set from Tim Holtz, and I decided to pair this with some of his Christmas backdrops pattern paper and the rosette die to make these layered ornaments. Or they could also just be like bowl fillers tucked into displays, all kinds of things. Then I'm going to dig deep into my Tim Holtz idea-ology supply and finish these off. Now I decided to make mine rather simply because I really wanted the emphasis to be on the beautiful rosettes. There are so many ways to use rosettes, and I hope this video inspires you to play with yours and have fun making decor, cards, tags, all of the wonderful things. For each rosette, you're going to need 3 panels that you're going to glue together. That's going to be for the original rosette or the snowflake rosette. That's what I found worked the best. Then I am simply going to fold, and I'm accordion folding these on the score lines, and I'm folding them the same way. We're going to use some red line tape to adhere these together, ink up the edges, and then we're going to assemble everything. Because my rosettes are ornaments, I am using hot glue and E6000 for all of my adhering today. And that is completely a personal preference. The hot glue, because it makes everything stick together much quicker than a liquid glue would. You'll see that with the rosette, when we put the rosettes together. I just really don't want to wait a super long time to wait for liquid glue to dry. And then the E6000 I used for the metal piece that I'm putting in the middle of the rosette. And again, hot glue has the tendency to just, dry, cool, and pop off of the metal. So I wanted to use a adhesive that would work really well for that E6 or for that metal, those metal idea-ology pieces we're going to finish with. So I am gluing these together, and you can see I'm using the red line tape for this. Did I get them put together right the first time? No. So I'm carefully lining these up and then pressing it in place. And I'm really trying my best to keep my fingers out of that red line adhesive. It is really sticky and strong as long as the natural oils from your fingers don't get in it. And then, so you'll see I'm using something sharp. You can use the tip of a tool-in-one or your embellishment wand to pop the backing paper off of your red line tape. That usually works the best. If I use my fingernail, invariably I get my skin right on that tape. So I've already touched it a little bit, taking it off the roll. So just trying to make sure that it maintains as much stickiness as possible. Okay, before I connect this, I did just take a little bit of gathered twigs and ink up those edges, and I'll show you a little bit more of that here in a second. So I find this is the trickiest part, is getting that little background circle, which you do get this little circle in the rosette set, plus the little snowflake that goes on top, where it's supposed to go. So I actually decided, and this is the first time I've done this when I'm making rosettes, holding that piece with your tweezers, so much smarter. So when it cools, it will just pop off of your glass surface, which is awesome. But that is the connector for the back of your rosette, that solid circle. The piece that goes on the front is this adorable little snowflake here, which also could be used in lots of different ways. So that could be used on your cards really easily. Now, I decided there's so many beautiful Christmas backdrops in Tim's sets that I wanted to create multiple rosettes because I think these are going to be super cute tucked into displays. Imagine tucking them in amongst your ornaments, greenery, all of the wonderful Christmas things. I think it's just going to be amazing. Of course, these backdrops look a lot like some of Tim's fabrics, which I am a huge fan of. I really, really love that. And even though the snowflake is pretty good size and it's going to take up a lot of surface area of the original rosette, I think it's going to look amazing. For the original rosette, we're going to put that together really pretty much like the snowflake. If you've seen any of my other rosette videos, it's going to go just like that. And something I love about these papers is that there's these really faded distressed areas, and then there's some areas that aren't so much. Really beautiful, and I think showcases the backdrops perfectly, but it really adds to that vintage vibe, which is definitely what I was going for with these. So once I have this one together, I'm going to take a darker color of distress ink in Scorched Timber, and we're going to ink up the edges of this rosette as well. Inking up the edges just kind of helps make them a little less perfect from our die cutting, grunges them up a little bit. I don't want to completely cover them, so I didn't use an ink blending brush or anything like that. And instead, I really just want to use that direct to paper technique. Oh my gosh, look how cute that's going to look with the polka dot on the plaid. Oh, I'm obsessed. And I'm just going to go in now and grunge up those creases, the edges, and the mini ink pads work perfectly for this. And I used a pretty heavy hand depending on the pattern paper. Some of the lighter papers, I tried not to go quite as hard. And even on the little snowflake that we're going to layer on top, I'm going to ink up the edges of that. A lot of that does get covered, but it does serve a purpose to kind of finish off the rosette, even though we're covering that centerpiece with our cute little idea-ology. So I'm going to go ahead and put together the rest of the rosettes. And you can see that I'm using my tweezers and the little circle to add my glue. And we're going to do this for all of our pieces. So on top now, I'm going to put a little glue right there in the center of my polka dot snowflake. And we are going to place the snowflake topper right there and press down. Now this is going to be the same steps for the other two layered rosettes as well. Then we are going to glue the snowflake to the original rosette. That is where the layered rosette comes from. I'm going to put some more hot glue there, pop our other snowflake. I'm going to hold it in place for a minute while that glue cools. And then we're going to go ahead and assemble these other two rosettes. I've already die cut, assembled, and inked up the edges of the other four pieces. While I'm allowing some of the glue to dry, I did go ahead and make a little bow off camera. This is a 6-loop bow from the May Arts twine. This roll of twine is one of my favorite things that I have that I purchased from Simon Says Stamp years ago, and I am still using. I felt like the rustic look and feel of this twine was going to be perfect. So I'm actually going to use a little E6000 glue, and I could not get the nozzle of my E6000. It was almost out, in fairness, so I actually cut it apart so that I was able to use it, and then got a new tube the next day. And I'm going to glue the twine down, but then I'm going to press this idea-ology seal in place. These snowflake seals, I believe, are still available. The other, one of the other ones I'm using was from a previous year's release, but you guys might also have some wonderful Tim Holtz things in your stash. Have fun with it. The metal stars are also a great alternative, or metal gemstones, or simply just put some beautiful layered bows in the center. Lots of opportunities to use your favorite Tim Holtz products here. Then I'm going to set that aside to dry. The E6000 will take a little bit to dry, so I did let them sit and completely set up overnight. Okay, let's put together the remaining rosette pieces, and then I'll show you how to assemble the bows. There's lots of ways to make Luby bows, but my favorite is this tool from Chantal's 141 design. It is a set of 2 bow tools and they make different size bows. I'm making the 2.5-inch size bow, and I have simply gone around the 2 tongs 6 times, doing a figure 8 between those 2 tongs. I will pull it tight and then slide the little bow off of the tool. So I'm going to do that again. Starting by holding it in my left hand, I am going around and then up and under 6 times, making 6 loops on both. When I get to that last loop on the left side, I'm going to bring the end of my twine up through the middle, around all of those loops, and then I'm going to feed the end through that little loop that I've left in the middle. I maybe left the tail a little long. Then I'm going to pull it to the back and pull it tight right in the middle. Pull that back down, pull tight, and then we're simply going to slide our bow off. You can then fluff up the ends and adhere that right in the center of your rosette. I'm going to put a little bit of the E6000 in the center again, and a little on the back of my metal piece. So this metal seal with words is one that I don't see in stock, although you might still be able to find it places like eBay, or other some sellers may still have it. I don't know. And the snowflake that we'll put on the last one, I don't remember where that one's from, but there are snowflake charms that you can get now that would be really fun too, that you could even dangle and hang from a bow in the center of your rosette. Have fun with it. Use your fun Tim Holtz idea-ology supplies. It's a great way to utilize them and turn them into some really fun decor pieces. So I'm finishing off my final rosette snowflake here. I'm going to just press that hot glue. And again, I'm just making sure that before my E6000 sets up that I've kind of pressed it and made it as flat as possible. I love that fun little center. Really great little use of the seals and snowflakes, or you could even die cut, another snowflake. I think buttons might be cute in the center. This is some of the green floral for the snowflake, the red and kind of natural look for the stripe. That red and natural is one of my favorite fabrics from Tim Holtz. We'll finish with the snowflake in the center, add our bow, add our metal idea-ology piece, and then just through one of the openings in the snowflake, one of those die cut openings, we'll thread through a little additional twine, knot the ends, and that gives us this wonderful little hanger. One of the benefits of that is if you actually want to tuck this into displays and don't want to make this an ornament, don't want it to have the hanger, simply snip that off and just tuck your rosettes wherever you want. You could glue these to some dowel sticks and put them in displays. Like think about your Christmas floral displays. You could have little rosette picks in there. That would be really cute. So many great ways to use these and display these during the holiday season and beyond. So here is a close-up look at all 3 finished layered rosette ornaments. I hope this video has inspired you to create your own. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly love sharing creativity with this amazing community of crafters. A special thank you goes out to my wonderful Patreon members. I appreciate you all so much. If you'd like to join us on Patreon, you'll find the link in the video description below. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do and enjoy exclusive content, behind-the-scenes updates, and extra perks. There's something for everyone, and we'd love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.